a couple of weeks back when on Good Friday, that Texas federal judge, he issued a stay on mifepristone. AAPLOG, American Association of OB-GYNs, and ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom, our friends at ADF, they brought forward this lawsuit against the FDA because for 16 years, AAPLOG has been asking these questions about, the danger, what is the danger to women? We can't be just willy-nilly giving out these pills that we know obviously kill babies, but they can kill women. And the judge even said, like, I wouldn't even be issuing this today if the FDA had addressed this. But for 16 years, they've chosen to ignore thousands of pro-life OB-GYNs across the country.
That's exactly right. And that delay, can function as a denial, right? We've heard this phrase, sort of, justice delayed is justice denied. And,
That's right.
and there is a due process right to process in front of, adequate protections, procedural protections in front of that administrative agency. So where the FDA gives itself sort of unlimited extensions, to the tune of years or decades or what have you, at some point that's, they have denied that petition that's in front of them, and thus administrative remedies have been exhausted. So what we've done with SFLA then is we have presented 3 different citizens petitions, which means 3 different formal requests for action or to modify some prior rulemaking, for example. We've done that 3 times now, and in November, December, and this month.
Tell me the November one.
Absolutely. We asked that the FDA include a provision of prescriber requirements for mifepristone. So anytime a prescriber would prescribe mifepristone for a woman who's seeking an abortion, we asked that the FDA include a catch kit and red bag medical waste requirement. And essentially, as you know, women are being told, don't look, just flush. And after they pass the fetal tissue and the placenta and things into the toilet, they then are being told, don't look at it, just flush it. Well, that then means that the doctors and the providers are all but instructing the women, and perhaps even actually instructing the women, to pollute the environment. Because what happens to wastewater? Well, when we flush the toilet or when we take a shower or what have you, it goes down the pipes, and either it goes into our septic system, or it goes into the wastewater treatment facility down the road, across town or what have you, and then it's treated over the course of days and even weeks, depending on the plant. And then the treated water is then ejected back into the water table, the water of our country. So it's recycled, comes back around, and we drink it, or it's put out into the surface water and animals drink it and swim in it and live in it, or it is put into our aquifers where we drink it and fill our swimming pools with it and all the rest. So at the end of the day, a woman has an abortion caused in part by the mifepristone drug, which is this highly potent progesterone inhibiting hormone. The substance, the contents of that, are passed into the wastewater. The wastewater is treated in the general sense, so fluoride is put in and the bacteria is removed. But what's not removed is these hormones, these potent progesterone inhibiting hormones. And remember that mifepristone is unique. It's a manufactured synthetic, drug, and it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. The 3 active metabolites of mifepristone don't exist anywhere else in the world except after mifepristone has passed through a woman's body. And so we can test with a high degree of confidence where this is at and how it's polluting our environment. And what we've said to the FDA is, look, FDA, the law requires you to have done this kind of environmental testing and things. And in order to stop these environmental harms, birth defects in animals, etc., what you need to do is require prescribers to have a catch kit where a woman passes the contents of her uterus into the red bag, and then sends that contents back to the prescriber for proper disposal. If we think about what happens at an abortion clinic, a brick and mortar abortion clinic, where there's a surgical abortion, the fetus and uterine contents are in fact disposed of pursuant to medical waste laws. In fact, we've seen prosecutions of egregious situations where abortionists are taking the fetuses home and stuff like that, right? We've seen those kinds of prosecutions. We've
Yeah.
also seen when a woman, and this happened to my wife and I, we miscarried at one point, and when a woman is miscarrying and she sees her provider, and the provider says, "I'm terribly sorry," right, and all of that. In most states, a woman is sent either at the hospital, miscarries at the hospital, or is sent home to finish miscarrying, and is often sent home with a red bag medical waste kit. So even fetal tissue and placentas that are not chemically tainted are collected in a red bag and taken back to the provider for proper disposal. So what we said to the FDA is, look, there's all these situations in which red bag medical waste is used. So you need to do it here. And they have not responded to this one. Their deadline to respond is approximately the 15th of next month. I believe it's the
Okay.
14th of next month is their deadline to respond.
So
And
the 14th of May.
yes, approximately 14th of May.
This is significant because, we have laws in our country about how we treat the disposal of body parts. Like if I would have my arm amputated, and I'd say, "Hey, give me my arm. I want to take it home and bury it in my backyard." The hospital would be like, "No, you can't do that."
You not only couldn't bury your arm, you wouldn't be given the option, right? If a doctor amputated your arm, the doctor is legally required to make sure he or she is the progenitor of that waste. And the progenitor of the waste, the prescriber, the one who did the surgery, for example, or the facility where that occurred at, is required to do the waste. So if you said, "Hey, I want to take my arm home," they would say, "Absolutely not. You can't.
Wow.
It has to be disposed of a certain sort of way." And so that's all we're asking, is that the FDA just apply existing law as it's supposed to be applied.
This would be a significant game changer, though, if states pass laws saying if you are generating medical waste and sending chemical abortion pills into our state, you also have to then send a catch kit, and then you're going to have a facility, an abortion clinic somewhere where she then drops off her dead child and
That's
the
right.
placenta to be properly disposed of, which would then theoretically get rid of the ability to just do these mail order abortions, and there's no facility, no doctor involved at all, which would save countless lives.
What you'll note is that this provision is an environmental provision. This provision does not change. It doesn't require the judge to consider a medical expert's analysis about the effect of these pills on a woman or on a fetus or whatever. This literally is a medical waste, keep the water clean analysis. And the other thing I would say about this is the target of our request for relief in this citizens petition is the progenitor of the waste, the prescriber. The woman is not in any way a subject of or a target of the relief that we're seeking. It's the provider, the progenitor of the waste, the person who provides the prescription to the woman. That person is who is responsible for the proper disposal of the waste at the outset, and we're just asking the FDA to enforce that requirement against the providers. And so I just want to be very clear. We understand the realities of abortion, and our focus here is the progenitor of the waste.
And if you want to read this for citizen petition, because it's epic, you can go to thisischemicalabortion.com, and once you're on that site, you just click Action Center, and you'll see a link for citizen petitions. We have all 3 citizen petitions up there.